Montreal in Game 1 had more hits than Pittsburgh had in Game 1 and 2 combined. Hello everyone, my name is Norman, and in this video we're going to discuss what went wrong for the Pittsburgh Penguins in their series against the Montreal Canadiens. Why did they not go through, and how come they did not go through in this embarrassing fashion. Before going into the video though, I'd like to thank everyone who actually takes the time to watch this video. I know it's not a lot of people at all, but I truly appreciate everyone watching. It gives me an incentive to make more of these videos. I absolutely love doing it, so thank you. But let's dive right into the video. So you can't make a video discussing what went wrong for Team A without also stating what went right for Team B. And Montreal, as underwhelming as they sometimes were, definitely got a few things correct. So let's start with Montreal's biggest asset, and for me, the biggest reason, player-wise, why Montreal has actually gone on to progress to the playoff series, and that is Carey Price. As you can see, I'm a Maple Leaf fan and I have my bias, but it's impossible for me not to recognize Carey Price's importance and the level he's been playing at in this series, but also throughout his career. So in 4 games against Pittsburgh, and I reiterate, Pittsburgh, with all of the players they have, Malkin, Crosby, Gensel, Rust, in a 4-game series against Pittsburgh, Carey Price had a save percentage of .947. A .947 save percentage on a Montreal Canadiens team which nearly did not make the playoffs and which regularly gives away 20, 25, 30, 35 shots against teams that should have no business having as many shots. Remember, they got swept by the Detroit Red Wings in the regular season. This team, which just beat the Pittsburgh Penguins, got swept by Detroit. But again, Carey Price performed at the top level, the highest of his abilities, and I have to take my hat off to him. Carey Price was unbelievable. But he wasn't the only player on the Montreal Canadiens who actually had a good series. You think of the young guys with great potential. Nick Suzuki, Jesper Kotkaniemi, they aren't anywhere near the level that they can attain. They're barely even adults, but they played really well. They created a lot, they skated to the right places, they did not give up, and they believed in themselves. That's the most important thing in this series. They believed in themselves. The Montreal Canadiens team believed in itself, and they believed they could actually get a win, get 2, get 3, and progress on to the next stage. You can't forget to mention Leikonen, you can't forget to mention Petrie, and also remember Max Domi, by far their best player, did not play nearly as much as he normally would. He did not register a single point, and without him practically, they beat Pittsburgh. So that's a team with a huge willpower, with huge determination and great self-belief. But now on to Pittsburgh. What did they do wrong? After Game 3, I looked at some Penguins players individually, such as Malkin, Letang. What did they do? What are their stats, their inputs, time on the ice, etc. But let's update this after Game 4, now that the series is over. So first, Evgeny Malkin. He had a total of 82 minutes and 51 seconds over the 4 games. Let's just make it easier for ourselves, round it up to 83 minutes. In these 83 minutes, he had 21 shots, of which he scored none. 0 for 21 on his shots. Evgeny Malkin. As one of the best centermen in the league, he had a plus-minus of -3. We're not just talking about any player here, we're talking about a future Hall of Famer. A Hall of Fame lock, a first ballot Hall of Famer. 1,079 points in 907 games. Up there with guys like Crosby and Lemieux. A guy which the Pens rely on heavily to lead by example, to take the bulls by the horns. And that guy, at 21 shots, 0 goals, 1 assist for a grand total of 1 point, a plus-minus of -3 in 83 minutes against the Habs. Talk about a short highlight reel. Talk about a huge letdown. That's not it. Gensel, Hornqvist, Brian Rust, even Sidney Crosby, all to an extent just disappointed. They weren't anywhere near good enough. But it's not just a forward line, it was also the defense. That blue line was atrocious. I wouldn't be surprised if there were lots of changes. But let's get to the defense now. Brian Dumoulin, 88 minutes, 1 point, plus-minus of 0. Chris Letang. Now don't get me wrong with Chris Letang. I love Chris Letang. I think on his day, he's absolutely brilliant. He's one of the best in the league on his day. But he had a series to forget. Chris Letang, 107 minutes over 4 games. That's nearly 28 per game. 12 shots. They're relatively unimportant. He's a D-man. His first priority is to defend. Obviously also to create a bit more for the forwards. But the 12 shots, we're just going to look past that. He did not register a single goal, nor did he register a single assist. He had 0 points. 0. Chris Letang, 28 minutes per game. 107 minutes in total. plus minus of -2, and he was at fault or completely responsible for more than just one goal. Now don't forget about Schultz and Marino, they were practically invisible as well. None of them were good. They were all terrible. Every single player for the Pittsburgh Penguins, from the last guys on the 4th line to the 3rd line on the defense, they were all absolutely terrible. Now there perhaps are 2 exceptions with Murray and Jari, but they're both goalies. They can change the game to a certain extent, but they can't keep everything out. Murray had one great game, he had one absolutely terrible game in his first game, and he had one okay game in the 3rd one. Tristan Jarry, on the other hand, had a really good game against the Habs in Game 4. He let a goal in on 21 shots, but again, you can't save everything, and he should be able to rely a little bit on the offense to produce as well. And yet again, that core, that Stanley Cup winning core, is there. It is there. They know how to win. They've done it. They've got the experience. There's not going to be a letdown as big as this one. On the ice, Pittsburgh dominated, but only with shots. Not physically, not with blocks, not with hits. Only statistically with the shots. And when they had good patches, they were only that, patches. Few and far in between. Game 1 perfectly illustrated this. Pittsburgh outshot Montreal 4-1, but obviously they lost the game. They only scored 1 out of 7 power plays. And that's a power play with obviously Crosby, Malkin, Letang. Only 1 of these power plays out of 7 was converted. They were outblocked 27-17 with the most baffling stats was on the hits. Montreal had 53 hits over 74 minutes. Pittsburgh only had 30. Montreal in Game 1 had more hits than Pittsburgh had in Game 1 and 2 combined. Over the 4 games, these are the 4 major stats. I'll read them out to you. The shots were 134-15. On the power play, Pittsburgh scored 3 out of 18, which is only 16.66%. Montreal scored 0 on 12, so the PK was great for Pittsburgh, obviously. The hits. Now this is baffling, the hits. Pittsburgh had 108 hits. Montreal had 171. 4 games played, 63 more. So with 18 power plays and 134 shots, Pittsburgh only scored 8 goals. That's an efficiency rate of not even 6%. Not even 6%. The discrepancy between both teams in hits and blocks made a difference. It's that simple. Yes, obviously Montreal was much more clinical, but it is a consequence of Pittsburgh not blocking and not hitting as much as Montreal did. Not only was there a lack of physicality on Pittsburgh's side, they showed no signs of determination, no signs of mental fortitude, and except for Game 2, Pittsburgh just seemed unable to retain or to extend the lead. Probably more important than anything else is leadership. And you'd think with guys like Letang, Crosby, Malkin, and even Patrick Marleau, there would be enough leadership in this one team for the entire Metropolitan Division. But no, there was seemingly a huge void where there should have been leadership. I've said this in the Game 3 recap, but there's no one who took the bull by the horns. There's no one who picked them up when they were down. No one who said, look guys, I'm going to perform my best. If you don't want to be here, get out, but I'm going to do it. Everyone who's with me follows me. There was no one like that. And this is exactly where they lost it. I said they should block more, they should be more physical. But again, there is a huge correlation between leadership and the rest that follows on the ice. It's as simple as that. With the right leadership, they would most definitely have won Game 1. They would have gone on to win Game 2. And obviously from then on, it's basically game over for the Habs. Am I discrediting Montreal? Absolutely not. I think they played with a plan, they played with a purpose, they executed it perfectly, and they definitely deserve to go through. Could this embarrassment have been saved on the Penguins side? Absolutely. Hindsight is a wonderful thing, but it's exactly that, hindsight. There are going to be changes, guys are going to be moved on. The thing is, Pittsburgh now has a shot at Lafreniere. If they get him, good Lord have mercy on the Metropolitan. Looking forward, are Montreal going to beat Philly? No, absolutely not. And I know we've said the same thing, Montreal is not going to beat Pittsburgh, but Philly is a completely different beast. Philly looks ruthless. Philly is ruthless. They're one of the favourites for the Cup this year, in my opinion. They might actually win it. Montreal is not going to win against Philly. But I'm curious to see if they can do something. I'm definitely curious now. Anyway, that was the video. It was my take on what went wrong. We could obviously go much more in depth. If you've enjoyed this video and you want to see more in the future, please subscribe. I'd love to have a discussion with someone on the comments on what went wrong or what went right. Let me know what you thought. My name has been Norman, and again, thank you very much for watching.